Welcome back to Halloween Whimsy. As you see here, I have started filling in the background of the crow sitting on the fence. It's as dark as possible I can get it. I probably will go over a few more times to just make it really, really dark. I am not adding stars or anything like that. You, of course, could if you wanted to, but I just wanted it to be a pitch black night. Once I finished filling in the background as dark as possible, I then filled in the pine trees, adding small details to represent the pine needles as well as the tree trunk. There's it's just lines going up and down, sort of like an arrow, if you will, and just doing both sides until they were both filled. And this is probably just the first layer. I will add some darker sections probably when I'm done with most of it to just to give it more depth. And then I started filling in the grass, just going up and down. I did burn it a little darker to represent that it is nighttime. So you probably can't see the details real close, but if you look up close, it does look pretty jaggedy. I detailed some of the fencing to just kind of give me some reference to not burn over with the grassy parts. Once I was finished with the grass, I went to the crow and just started filling it in with line work. I know it's a lot faster than you can tell, but it's just lines in the flow of the way the bird is shaped. Once I was finished, I ended up actually going back later to use my shader to repeat the same process to give it a little bit more smoothness of the feathers and less jaggediness, I guess, if you will. And when I was done with the crow, I moved onto the fence. I switched my tip to a shader tip because that texture is going to be very, very different. I ended up stopping briefly to go back to the other tip to make the fence look like wood with some of the wood details like lines and knots and things like that, and then switch back to the shader to keep filling it in. And for the moon, I just used my spoon shader to fill it in so that the plank wood wasn't just staring through and be really, really bright, but to give it some depth. And here is the finished piece of the crow on the fence. Thanks for hanging out with me. If this sparked something, whether it's an idea, a feeling, or just a moment of calm, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need this too. Until next time, stay curious, stay rooted, and keep creating your own wild path.